It is live special coverage of the 2025 Mackinac Policy Conference from the Grand Hotel on Mackinac Island. I am Zoe Clark, and I am joined by someone whose mind for the past 2 years has been all about Michigan's population and growth and the state, in so much that she has a tattoo of the state of Michigan that I always just like to remember as I introduce Hilary Doe. She is Chief Growth Officer, the first Chief Growth Officer, we should note, announced 2 years ago at this conference.
That's
Hilary,
right.
It's great to have you back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And then we are also joined by Rick Baker. He is President and CEO of Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce. Good to have you at the desk for the first time, Rick.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. So, I mean, one of the conversations that we have been having now for the past couple of years, right, is about the need to grow Michigan's population, get people to stay in the state, get people to come to the state. I want to talk about that with both of you, including how the Grand Rapids region is really making some things happen. But Hilary, let's start first with these Make My Home grants. Recently announced more than $750,000. Tell us about the latest. What have you heard from folks around the state?
Yeah. Well, there's frankly a lot of good news to announce in the last couple years. It's been really exciting to see. Last year we saw 65+% of Michigan counties grow, which is wonderful to see. And I'd say more importantly, our young adult population also is growing, which is really exciting to see, or more importantly, accelerating faster than 45 other states. So that's wonderful news, in part because of regions like Grand Rapids, but also our northern communities, Traverse City, Detroit. So it's been great to see. And to help ensure that we can continue that growth, we created Make My Home, which is a first of its kind, first in the nation program that allows our local communities to apply and create really tailored talent attraction and retention programs. They can apply and say that they'd like to provide down payments or student loan forgiveness or welcome programs to ensure that local talent can stay in their communities, or that they can invite folks from across the country to come and join them. And we've really seen overwhelming interest from folks across the state, and it's exciting to
give me
to
some
get the chance.
examples of what ideas that you heard and that have been announced.
Well, just today, we actually got the chance to announce the city of Detroit's interest. They're actually doubling down on wanting to retain entrepreneurs here in the city and are supporting with some housing stipends, for example. We also saw a specific targeted West Michigan ask for help with teacher attraction, which is really exciting to see. So it's really varied and very regionally specific. And, you know, we looked at retention programs across the country to really analyze what will work. And the truth is, what works for Marquette and Traverse City will be different than Grand Rapids and Detroit. So this is intended to be locally driven, and I think that's what will make it successful here in Michigan.
Well, let's turn to the west side of the state and what is working for Grand Rapids, because many folks would say that the Grand Rapids region and the growth is a success story in the state of Michigan. Rick, I mean, what are the tools, right, that are in your toolbox right now that you are seeing that is helping the region grow?
Well, this has been a decades-long journey for Grand Rapids to really reinventing itself. And I think what's potentially unique in our region is we have a very vested business community that has strong partnerships with our public sector. Says we want to create a community that's vibrant, it's attractive. We all want to live in a place that's attractive and vibrant and energetic and things to do. And so, you know, really setting our eye on the prize and everybody aligning and being focused on, like, these are the things that we want to do over the next few years, few decades, to make sure that we continue to grow as a community.
Yeah, I mean, folks in Grand Rapids have been aligned, and as you mentioned, there has been a lot of money behind what we've seen in Grand Rapids. But Hilary, you noted that not everything is going to, you know, one size fits all for different regions, but there's got to be some sort of through line. I mean, you have watched all this. Give me some examples of where you could sort of maybe not take the exact model, but say, look, we know at least this is going to help. It may not work completely, but it's going to help.
Absolutely. There are certain things that are pretty universal. We asked, for example, 6,000 young people across the country what would be some of the most motivating factors in choosing the next place that they'd call home. Universally, investments in housing pay off. And we know we need housing across the state in different ways and different forms. But also, for example, investments in place. Place matters alongside job opportunity. We know that Grand Rapids has done a great job of making place-based investments, for example, including things like transit. And additionally, we know that folks, really need childcare, and that's been true across our state, childcare and elder care. And I'd say the business community across the state has chimed in that regard too, and has been supportive there as well. And we've seen things like free pre-K, for example, something we can offer here in Michigan that not every state can claim, and helps us in that regard.
Yeah. When you hear that, does that sort of resonate with you, Rick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Like everything she was saying, the housing, jobs, housing, education for their children, pre-K, education for their children. All those things have been priorities for us as a business organization, which is, I never thought some of them would be priorities for us at one point in time in my career. And those are the things that are important to people and to have an attractive community.
Yeah. So, what's the message then, Hilary, now 2 years on? We've got, 1,500 business leaders and lawmakers and officials, philanthropists that you are still, carrying on, that you want folks to hear about the work that still needs to be done.
Absolutely. I would say two things. One, that this is really existential, kind of foundational work for the well-being of our communities and for our economic health, whether you're in a more rural community or a city across our state. We know that. We've talked to 20,000 plus Michiganders who've let us know this is a top priority for them. And even in a moment that might look different than a few years ago, maybe there's a little more uncertainty, a lot of competing priorities, we know we don't want to go back to 2008, 2010 Michigan. And since we've changed the shape of the curve and the trajectory of our growth here in the state, we want to hang on, push on the accelerator, and lean into what we know is working. So I would just continue to underscore that I believe Michiganders when they tell us this is the right priority and we should double down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rick, I'm curious, we can't not talk about what just feels like some economic headwinds right now. We can sort of, on one hand, grow and do all of these things. And the other is, though, we are hearing conversations about tariffs. We are hearing federal budget cuts. There was the Consensus Revenue Estimating Conference earlier this month that shows the state's going to have $300 million less in the next fiscal year than just predicted in January. You talk to business leaders, right, as part of your job. What are you hearing right now from folks on the ground about uncertainty, unpredictability, and concerns moving forward?
Well, business thrives on predictability and stability, right? And so they can plan. Headwinds are one thing, but the instability is a challenge that is different because it's like, I can't keep changing my plan. And so what we've seen is people are kind of continuing to move forward with their plan and making some small adaptations along the way. But they can't keep swinging back and forth and swerving all over with all the changes that are being thrown at them. But we have we're a resilient people here in Michigan, and our business community is really resilient in adapting to the changes and the challenges.
Mm-hmm. Right, grit, I believe, is the word that folks like to use about Michiganders.
That's right.
Hilary, as we wrap up, it has been 2 years since you've had this job. Again, as I mentioned, announced here on Mackinac Island. Tell me about the next year. What does that look like? What plots are you plotting?
Well, I think Make My Home is such a great announcement to make here because it's a sort of testament to the innovation that we've really tried to bring to bear against this issue. Again, a first in the nation program. It also is a testament to our theory going forward that we're going to keep listening to our local communities and following their lead. But in addition to that, we're going to lean into what has been working. One of the things we've done is about the time that my position was announced, the state launched a talent attraction and retention campaign called You Can in Michigan. And one of the numbers I always like to mention to folks is to date, in about 18 plus months, over 40,000 folks have come through that campaign saying they'd like to live and work in Michigan. And when we talk about an uncertainty, for example, I think those are one of the ways we can come alongside folks and say, hey, we can at least make sure that we have a strong talent pipeline, that we can be a partner to you in this way and be truly world-class in this regard.
Hilary Doe, Rick Baker, I appreciate the conversation, the work that both of you are doing